Hello and welcome to FTD Talk. My name is John James, and today I want to talk to you about the Amber Heard interview on American television. I've already done an interview on the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, so check that out. But I want to talk to you specifically about the Amber Heard interview. I know that many people, hundreds of people have done videos on this, but I'm coming at it from a male abuse survivor's position. I haven't seen anybody else do that, so I'm not saying there isn't one out there, I'm sure there is, but that's what I want to do, and that's where I'm coming from. So what we'll do is we'll take this in chunks. This is part one, and we'll take it in chunks. I'll watch a bit of the video, I'll comment on it, watch a bit more, comment on it. If you've got anything to say, if you've got any thoughts on the matter, comment your comment in the comments, and let's get at it.
More than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in?
How could it? It's surreal and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
My dog stepped on a bee. Oh my God. She's such a bad actress, a really bad actress. She doesn't show any emotion whatsoever. It's just pretense of emotion. It's awful. It's terrible. And everybody can see how bad an actress she is. And this is why that nobody believed her in court, because she's so bad. The other thing is, how the fuck is she getting away with this? How is she not being dragged back into court for defamation again? I stand by everything I said. She's already been proven to be a liar, and she's just reiterating the lies on national television. How the fuck is she not being dragged into court again and being slapped in bloody handcuffs, for God's sake? Anyway, let's watch a bit more of this fiasco.
Defamation case between Amber Heard and her ex-husband Johnny Depp captivated millions of people around the world.
Amber Heard just got exposed.
Johnny, you hit me.
This is so cringe.
With clips spreading across social media like wildfire.
I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok, and the jury is not immune to that.
You think the jury saw it?
How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this.
Okay, typical narcissist. Everybody's to blame but her. She's blaming the social media. She's blaming the jurors. And what the fuck? She's saying that the jurors saw social media. Now, if you are caught where you're proven to have watched social media, you're proven to have been biased in any way by going outside of what your parameters are, you're told, do not watch social media, do not do research. So the jurors can't do that. Now, some jurors might go and break the rules. But if you're caught doing that, you can get a heavy fine, you can get prison time. When jurors take the job of jury duty, they take it very seriously indeed. One juror's already come out and said that nobody looked at social media. Now, Amber, by saying this, is putting the jurors in a position of liars. She's projecting her lies onto them. And social media, of course, social media isn't social media really, is it? It's unsocial media. And there was a lot of stuff about her on that. But this trial was not influenced by that. It's bullshit. It's a narcissist blaming everybody but herself.
Online and crowds outside the courthouse made it clear where they stood.
Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, "Burn the witch," "Death to Amber." After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized.
Can you put into words how that felt?
This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack in just a little bit of what she said. First of all, there were signs, "Burn the witch," "Death to Amber." Really? Bullshit. Show me the photos, Amber. Show me the photos of these horrific signs. Show me the news footage that showed these horrific signs, because if they'd been that threatening, then the news definitely would have shown those signs. They showed other signs supporting Johnny Depp, but they never showed anything of "Death to Amber." They never showed anything of "Burn the witch." Bullshit. Yet more of your lies. Then you're talking about Johnny Depp. It was full of, the court was full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans. Johnny Depp is made into a character. He's not a real person. He's made into a character, belittling the guy into a small part of his life and a character, not even Johnny Depp. The court was packed, full, she says. So the court was packed, and she's belittling the viewer because she has to go packed. Full. Oh, that's what packed means. Packed means full, ladies and gentlemen. So she's belittling you, the audience, me, the audience. Also, the Pirates of the Caribbean films, yes, adults watch them, but they're Disney films, they're children's films. So she's belittling the people in the courtroom. She's calling them children. She's belittling them to childlike status. So they know nothing either. And packed, full, really? There was as many people on Amber's side as there was on Johnny's side. So again, more bullshit. And the interview's not doing a very good job of calling out bullshit. I mean, this is quite a lame interview at the moment, and it's allowing it to get away with quite a bit. Let's see what happens next.
I felt less than human.
Let's go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
That's a great question. I wish I could say yes to that. I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation.
Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes.
After the 6-week trial, the jury found Heard defamed Depp in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed in which she wrote she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. She never mentioned her ex-husband by name. Depp denied the abuse allegations in court. Heard won just one of 3 claims in her countersuit against her ex-husband. That verdict came less than 2 years after a judge ruled against Depp in a similar case in the UK, in which he sued a British newspaper that called him a wife-beater.
There was another trial, dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept out. Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court. Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will say his lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people, they just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either one of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that.
Okay, that was a long clip, so there's a lot to get through there. So I've made some notes. First of all, you've got the sign, the faces again, the really bad acting, and even her speech. Oh, that's a really good question. It's just really bad acting all over again. She blames the social media yet again. The social media, you can't look at the social media and say that it's been fair. No, the social media hasn't been fair. The social media has been largely attacking Amber Heard, and the social media hasn't been fair. However, the trial was. So, social media has nothing to do with it. A different trial gave a different result. Yeah, okay. So the UK trial was against a newspaper. It wasn't even against Amber Heard. It was against a newspaper. There are different rules. It was a different case, and it wasn't even against her. She talks about the evidence. A lot of our evidence wasn't let in. A lot of really important evidence. Where? Show me the receipts, Amber. There is no other evidence. If there was other evidence, they could have mentioned it at least. And you're sitting on a news programme talking about this and saying that still saying that Johnny abused you, still saying he was a liar, still defaming him. So why haven't you got the evidence there? You're using your mouth enough, so go, look, here's the evidence, You could do that, but no, because there was no evidence. She wants a judge. Oh, if only a judge had done it and not a jury. So if a judge had done it, which is authoritarianism, that would have been great for you, apparently. But no, but you don't want a jury to do it. You don't want democracy to do it. You don't trust the general public. So again, blaming somebody else yet again. His team was a distraction, so now it's Johnny's team's fault. How many things, thinking about it, how many things have you blamed, Amber? You've blamed the jury. You've blamed social media. You've blamed the people outside. You've blamed the people in the court. You've blamed Johnny Depp's team for distracting from the real issues. For fuck's sake. The thing is, you didn't take any responsibility for yourself. She never took any responsibility. And she blamed how it's being covered as well. How this is all being covered. Well, from what I saw, the coverage showed you being a liar, Amber. So, what the... Let's carry on.
This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation. And that was the issue in the case.
Yes, exactly. You can't go into... The free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
But truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke. And I spoke it to power, and I paid the price.
Amber there talking about the First Amendment right and the freedom of speech. And the freedom of speech originated with the Greeks. Freedom of speech originated in America as a part of the Bill of Rights. So, bullshit. Also, the First Amendment. The First Amendment doesn't protect freedom of speech between two individuals. It protects the freedom of speech if the government tries to shut you down. If the government tries to stop you having your freedom of speech. That is the First Amendment right. First Amendment right doesn't cover two individuals such as Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. So she doesn't even know what the First Amendment is. Right. Then she goes on to say, I spoke the truth, but I spoke truth to power. No, you fucking didn't. You didn't speak truth. You're sitting there lying again. And this is the narcissistic abuser's trait. That they truly believe they are right. They truly believe that they're telling the truth. So I guess in her own head, she is telling the truth. But she isn't telling the truth. She's a fucking liar. And everybody knows it. And this is why she lost the case. What more can I say?
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
So, says the representatives of the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers. When Johnny Depp walked in that courtroom, I said, where the fuck are his scissors? I was really shocked that he didn't have scissors on his hands. What the fuck? So, I think she's I don't know what the fuck she's saying, to be fair. She's making Johnny into a character again. She's dehumanizing him and making him into a character again. And through that stupid analogy, that fucking brain dead analogy, she's trying to say that Johnny Depp can convince us anything. She's trying to say that that he can convince us the impossible. Okay? So, Jesus Christ. Carry on.
I had listened to weeks of testimony insinuating that, or saying quite directly that, I'm a terrible actress. So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The Depp team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He
And
says
it
he
doesn't-
never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
Again, another clip that I've had to make notes on. When she says, people say I was a really bad actress, listen to how she says that. She chokes up, she stumbles over words. That leaves a sour taste in her mouth that somebody called her a bad actress. And she's a bloody bad actress. But she doesn't like saying that. She doesn't like saying it at all. And she says, I'm a little confused. How can I be both? Well, you can be. You can give the performance of your lifetime and not be convincing because you're shit. Again, she's saying she was abused. Again, she's repeating the trope that she is the victim and Johnny is the abuser. How the hell has she not been done for this again? A negotiation. The tapes that you heard were negotiation. I never heard a negotiation. I heard Amber Heard saying to Johnny Depp, I hit you. That's not a negotiation. Didn't think Johnny saw it as a negotiation either. Victim speak. Oh, I was psychologically and emotionally and it's just fucking awful to hear, because this is what you hear from abusers all the time. They were the ones who were the victim. They were the ones who went through shit. No responsibility is taken at all. It's all Johnny's fault. All Johnny's fault. And these clips that were played, they were clips. They're not representative of the whole thing. Well, why didn't your lawyers bring the whole thing in? They can do that. Why are you not saying, here world, here's the clips. Here's the full thing that the clips were taken from. Why are you not doing that? Why are your lawyers not bringing all the tape out into court? Why are they not showing context in which these clips were taken? Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
What about the witnesses who said they have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank and support the person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as a person who sat there.
When I asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? And the answer I got was, because she never took responsibility for anything she did in the marriage.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong.
Here Amber seems to take responsibility. I did horrible things. I said horrible things. But then she says, I was unrecognizable to myself. So herself and what she did and said are totally different. And then she says, I was pushed to the limit. So again, it's Johnny's fault. It's Johnny's fault. Everything she did is Johnny's fault. She doesn't take responsibility. She pretends to take responsibility here and then completely doesn't take responsibility.
Much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong. I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. And it was ugly and could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We were awful to each other. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. But I've always told the truth.
Pushed to the limit so she didn't know right from wrong. Unbelievable. And she made mistakes, she says. Yeah, she did. One of the mistakes was this interview. But all the way through this, we've seen the narcissist in Amber Heard. We've seen her blame everybody. We've seen her blame Johnny, which is obvious. She blamed the jury. She blamed social media. She blamed Johnny's team. She blames the people who come up who were witnesses, but she won't call them a liar. She's got to be careful there, and she knows that. She's stupid, but she ain't that stupid. She has to be very careful with what she says about calling other people a liar. But she was seen by witnesses instigating violence. She was caught on tape instigating violence. Johnny's own testimony, she was instigating violence. But she won't admit it. She won't take responsibility. It was everybody else's fault. The reason she lost the trial was everybody else's fault. It's absolutely ridiculous. I would say it's sad and I feel sorry for her, but I don't. Because I'm the survivor of narcissistic abuse, narcissistic violence. And the person I feel sorry for is Johnny Depp. And thank you, Johnny, for your speaking truth to power. Because she had all the power until you stepped into that courtroom. And now she's got none, which is great. And I don't mind seeing a narcissist being brought down a peg or two. Anyway, that's part 1. Part 2 will be coming soon. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't know whether you did or not. Tell me if you enjoyed it in the comments. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you soon. As always, please like and subscribe. The bigger the channel gets, the more people I can help. And people are coming forward. Since this Johnny Depp trial, men are coming forward. So, it has empowered men to do that. So, everybody out there, you take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and don't forget, don't let anybody ever make you afraid. Peace.